Right now at noon, the race for the White House heats up less than 3 weeks before Election Day, where the candidates are focusing their efforts. Plus, Israel says more aid trucks are rolling into Gaza as the United States pushes leaders into Tel Aviv to keep them coming. How the U.S. is threatening to pull military aid if the humanitarian situation does not improve. This is News 3 Now at noon. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Josh Breiter. We start with first warn weather this afternoon as there's another chance for frost overnight. We've officially reached the end of the growing season across all of southern Wisconsin. Meteorologist Kelly Slifka is out on the weather patio with more on when these temps will rebound. Hi, Kelly.
Yeah, good afternoon, Josh. It was the coldest night we've had for several months. Basically, have to go through to last spring when we saw temperatures this cold this morning. But as you mentioned, an end to the growing season, and it was a hard freeze for many, especially along the Wisconsin River Valley, Black River Falls, and Camp Douglas in the teens this morning. We got down to 30 in Madison, but you notice every temperature below 32, below the freezing point, therefore an end to the growing season. But we still have the possibility of seeing frost tonight. Now, if you did take care of your plants tonight, probably do it again tonight because we are looking at the chance of frost again by tomorrow morning, but it won't be as widespread as what we saw this morning. Winds have switched around to the west now. They're not as gusty as they've been. We've got sunshine, plenty of sun out there, 50 degrees. The winds out of the west-northwest at 7 miles per hour. Humidity remains low, so possible freeze or frost conditions again tonight. So taking those plants like you did last night, because after tonight, it looks like we won't see frost for the next 10 nights, so you'll be able to enjoy some of those plants for a while longer, because we're talking about some 70s expected this week, and the dry weather is going to continue right into early next week. We're sitting at 50 in Middleton, also in Madison, up to Wanakee, so that's a pretty common number here at the noon hour. Winds are out of the west-northwest at 7. They'll be fairly light, less than 10 miles per hour, as temperatures climb in the mid to upper 50s. So we're starting to shift gears a little bit, getting into a warmer weather pattern, and we're talking about 70s this weekend. We'll see how long that mild weather will last into next week coming up.
Yeah, we haven't even shifted our furnace on yet. I don't think I'm going to have to with that forecast.
Yeah, if you can get through tonight, I don't think you'll have to deal with it for the next 10 days or so.
All right, Kelly, thank you. Well, right now, the Dane County Sheriff's Office is investigating a death. A hunter found the remains Sunday in the area of County Highway Y and Loper Road. This is in the town of Roxbury near Sauk City. The Sheriff's Office says an autopsy is complete. The medical examiner's office is working to identify the person. Well, turning to our 3-4 The People coverage, the Lodi Optimist Club is hosting 2 public forums for area state senators and assembly candidates, the first of which is happening today. News 3 Now's Arman Rahman is live at the forum with more. Arman? Now, it looks like we're having some technical difficulties there. We're going to move on to other news headlines here at the noon hour. Former President Obama is scheduled to campaign in Madison next week for the Harris-Walz ticket. He'll join VP nominee Minnesota Governor Tim Walz on Tuesday. That's the same day early voting opens in Wisconsin. The campaign has not announced a time or location. Former President Obama previously visited Wisconsin to campaign for Mandela Barnes. That's when the former lieutenant governor ran for U.S. Senate. This visit comes after First Lady Jill Biden made a stop in Madison on Monday. Vice President Kamala Harris will return to Wisconsin tomorrow. She's expected to speak in Milwaukee, La Crosse, and Green Bay. Like with the Obama's visit, there are not yet details on times and locations. This will be her 6th visit to Wisconsin since becoming the presidential nominee. Meanwhile, Harris will sit down for an interview with Fox News later today as she tries to reach Republican voters who aren't sold on former President Trump. The former president right now is focusing on Latino voters in Florida today. Former President Trump courted women voters in an all-female Fox News town hall Tuesday in the battleground state of Georgia. At a rally outside Atlanta last night, Trump urged his supporters to turn out.
So if you have a ballot, return it immediately. If not, go tomorrow as soon as you can. Go to the polls and vote.
Georgia shattered records on the first day of early voting with more than 328,000 voters casting ballots. Back in Wisconsin, Senate candidate Eric Hovde will be hosting a campaign cookout and concert tonight. It'll be at the Five Bridges Farm in Oregon at 6:30. He'll be joined by Senator John Kennedy and Senator John Barrasso. Attendance is free. Well, today is the last day to register to vote online or by mail. Anyone who has moved even to a new apartment in the same building must re-register. If you don't register online, you can still do so in person at absentee voting sites. They open for voting this Tuesday and close on November 1st. You can also register on Election Day. In that case, you'll need to bring proof of residency. You can check your registration on myvote.wi.gov. All right, now back to that 3 for the People coverage. The Lodi Optimist Club hosting 2 public forums for area state Senate and Assembly candidates. The first is happening today, and that's where we find our Armand Rahman live at the forum with more. Hi, Armand.
Josh, yes, we're here at the Lodi High School. That forum is set to take place around 1 p.m. And it's between 2 names that have kind of risen to popularity this election cycle. Joan Ballwig, the incumbent Republican candidate for Senate District 14, and Sarah Kieski, a Democrat who hasn't held elected office before, but is a self-proclaimed mental health provider running for Senate District 14 as well. And that is one of those down-ballot races that has really been a little more interesting this election cycle, because that district was one of those redrawn by Governor Tony Evers back in February. It was previously more of a red district. Now it's more purple. It includes all of Richland County, parts of Sauk, Juneau, Adams, Dodge, Dane, and Vernon counties. So a much larger area here both the candidates have to run for. Ballwig, again, been that incumbent since 2021 in this district from Partyville. She's been in the Wisconsin legislature about 20 years. Kieski, a newcomer to the political scene here. This is about the first time constituents will probably hear from those candidates. Again, that forum set to take place here at Lodi High School at 1 p.m. We'll bring you more on it later on in the day on News 3 Now. For now, reporting in Lodi, Armand Rahman, News 3 Now.
Armand, thank you. Right now, the U.S. is warning Israel to let more humanitarian aid into Gaza or face the consequences. In a letter to Israeli leaders, the Biden administration warns it could cut off military aid if the situation doesn't improve soon. CBS's Rami Asensio reports from Tel Aviv.
The fight for food is growing across Gaza, with hundreds of thousands of Palestinian civilians desperate for help. The U.S. says Israel slowed or stopped almost 90% of aid across the tiny enclave last month as its military campaign rages on.
Everything is stacked against us at this point. It's an absolute horror day after day.
The Israel Defense Forces released video showing aid trucks rolling into northern Gaza Wednesday, saying they are filled with food, water, medical supplies, and shelter equipment. That move may be in response to that forceful letter Washington sent Israeli leaders here in Tel Aviv just a few days ago, setting an ultimatum. Let at least 350 trucks into Gaza every day or risk losing U.S. military aid.
It's possible to get humanitarian assistance into Gaza. We know it can be done. We know that the various logistical and bureaucratic obstacles can be surmounted.
Humanitarian groups say aid is at its lowest level in months, with dire shortages of fuel, medications, and blood for hospitals. Israel's bombing raids have forced the closure of medical centers, shelters, and even bakeries. U.S. officials say Israel has 1 month to lift restrictions and improve the humanitarian situation, or risk losing weapons from their biggest ally and supplier. Rami Inocencio, CBS News, Tel Aviv.
The U.S. is by far the biggest provider of arms to Israel. Israel's military has relied heavily on American-supplied aircraft, guided bombs, and missiles to fight the war against Hamas in Gaza over the past year. Well, still ahead for us on a Wednesday afternoon, the Department of Transportation gives its biggest civil rights fine ever. Plus, how a grocery store chain is looking to make Thanksgiving dinner more affordable for families.
Sarah Kieski, she supports lifting revenue limits, allowing property tax rates to skyrocket unchecked. Kieski's backers want to ban natural gas to heat our homes, driving utility bills through the roof. That's Kieski's record, expensive and extreme.
Sometimes the smallest cracks can cause the biggest chills. This fall, watch out for the draft.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
Are record high energy costs putting a squeeze on your fixed or limited incomes? While you haven't asked for it, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy assistance providers are here to help. No Wisconsin resident should ever have to face the challenge of living without heat or power or face homelessness. For a hand up, apply today.
Happy anniversary! Join us for our anniversary sale.
And help us celebrate. We're having our biggest sale of the year with savings throughout the showroom.
Where you can save big.
And you can save big.
You can save big. You can save big. On quality home furnishings throughout the showroom.
Join us for our anniversary sale.
Wanakee Furniture ETC. Bringing quality homes since 1996.
seems like everyone in Washington is either too far left or too far right. I'm Rebecca Cook, and like most folks in Wisconsin, I'm somewhere in the middle. I'll stand up to Democrats to fight for a secure border and stop wasteful spending. I'll stand up to extremists like Derek Van Orden, who wants to ban all abortions with no exceptions. Like you, I'm fed up and ready for change. I approve this message because it's time that we sent one of us to Congress.
A flood of illegals, skyrocketing prices, global chaos, and Kamala wouldn't change a thing.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Nothing will change with Kamala. More weakness, more war, more welfare for illegals, and even more taxes. Only President Trump cut middle-class taxes, and only President Trump will do it again.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Sarah Kieski, she supports lifting revenue limits, allowing property tax rates to skyrocket unchecked. Kieski's backers want to ban natural gas to heat our homes, driving utility bills through the roof. That's Kieski's record, expensive and extreme.
The Small Business Administration says it has run out of money for its disaster assistance loans program, which will likely delay aid to Americans recovering from Hurricanes Helene and Milton. So far, the agency has made around $48 million in loan offers related to Helene relief. The SBA is urging people to continue putting in applications in hopes Congress will replenish funding when lawmakers return to Washington next month. The Department of Transportation has brought its biggest civil rights fine ever against German airline Lufthansa. In 2022, the airline blocked 128 Jewish passengers from boarding a connecting flight from Frankfurt to Budapest due to the bad behavior of a few travelers on the first leg from New York. DOT says the airline treated all of the passengers as one group, even though many did not know each other. Lufthansa apologized for the incident and has since instituted a training program to address anti-Semitism and discrimination. And grocery store chain Aldi says its 2024 Thanksgiving basket is its lowest price since before the pandemic at $47. The full meal serves up to 10 people with holiday fixtures such as a butterball turkey, cranberry sauce, and stuffing mix. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Carissa Lawson.
Here at the noon hour, here's your stock report. The Dow's up 264 points, NASDAQ up 26, and the S&P 500 up 12. Our call for action volunteers in the building today, taking your consumer complaints and taking action on your behalf. Remember, you can call for action at 608-270-2833 or submit a claim anytime at channel3000.com/call-for-action. Pam is watching today's egg prices straight ahead, and Kelly is tracking the first warn forecast. And later on Live at 4, CBS's Wendy Gillette on the fall travel forecast, when the best time to buy plane tickets is, plus a look at the upcoming trends as a record year in travel comes to an end.
A flood of illegals, skyrocketing prices, global chaos, and Kamala wouldn't change a thing.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Nothing will change with Kamala. More weakness, more war, more welfare for illegals, and even more taxes. Only President Trump cut middle-class taxes, and only President Trump will do it again.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Stanton Optical believes eye care should be affordable. Right now, for only $135, you get 2 pairs of progressives, plus all this. All that costs over $200 everywhere else. Book your eye exam today. Stanton Optical, easy's our thing. Welcome to Too Good to Guess. Can you guess how much 2 pairs of progressives, a free eye exam, and anti-glare lens upgrade will cost at Stanton Optical? Only $135? Wow, a deal so good, every customer wins. Book your eye exam at Stanton Optical today.
4 years ago, rioters set this Minneapolis police station on fire, trying to burn me and my fellow police officers alive. Governor Tim Walz left us for dead. And Kamala Harris?
This is a movement, I'm telling you. Everyone beware. They're not going to let up, and they should not.
She raised millions to help bail rioters out of jail and supported defunding the police. Kamala sold cops out and put families at risk. Kamala Harris is too weak and too dangerous to be president.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Quartz takes a different approach to health insurance. We know every life well lived is a journey, and we're here to light the way at every step. That's why for 40 years, we've been alongside the doctors and hospitals who know what their communities need. Because they're a part of them. Because we're a part of them. There's a fire burning in all of us. Let's ignite it together. Quartz. Find your spark.
Joan Baldwin wants to ban abortion, even in cases of rape, incest, and when the mother's life is at risk.
And would jail doctors who perform them.
Baldwin voted to ban birth control, too, and to deny rape victims emergency contraception.
Banning all abortions and birth control? No one wants to tell you what to do with your body more than Joan Baldwin.
But she can't tell you what to do with your vote.
You have a clear choice in this election. Senator Baldwin is a 38-year career politician. I'm a businessman and job creator. She supports taxpayer benefits for illegal immigrants. I'll close the border. Tammy wants to put guys and girls sports in their bathrooms. I'll protect our daughters. Senator Baldwin abuses the political system. I'll fight the corruption. I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message. I'd be honored to have your vote.
The Farm Report is sponsored by Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Welcome back at noon. Let's check in now with Pam Yankee from the Midwest Farm Report. Hi, Pam.
Hi, Josh. A little warmer out there today. That's going to keep the harvest moving. I've got some of those numbers for you in just a minute. First, I want to talk about the issue that's really popped up in western Wisconsin for about 11 farms that had contracted to grow chickens for Pure Prairie Poultry out of Minnesota. That company closed its doors and its processing facilities about a month ago. I talked to Randy Romanski, our Wisconsin Secretary of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection, and asked him what the situation is and how DATCAP can help. He said, quite frankly, their hands are tied. They do not have authority to step in and help manage those birds. They don't even have authority to step in and euthanize those birds if that became necessary. Romanski said that the Producer Security Acts that are on the books cover dairy, vegetables, and grain, but not livestock, which is what these chickens would be classified under. As far as the euthanization situation, he said they can't step in and assist there if it became necessary. They're only allowed to do that when there's some type of disease in the place, and that's not the case up in western Wisconsin. So those farmers are definitely in a tough position. Romanski said what they've tried to do is reach out to the producers, but Pure Prairie Poultry only gave the Department of Agriculture names of the producers that were contracting, and they only did that about 2 weeks ago when this process has happened more than a month ago. Romanski says they're doing their best to try to actually locate where these flocks are, but again, with zero cooperation from Pure Prairie Poultry. Sad situation, to say the least. Department of Ag offering mental health counseling as well as financial counseling to those producers, and also advising them to get legal counsel because this is going to be tied up in the courts for a while. Those farms now have turned to social media giving away birds. They can't sell them because those birds are under contract, but so that they can keep the animals alive, they are literally giving away thousands of chickens up in western Wisconsin. Check it out on social media if it's something that you can accommodate. Barrel cheese up 4 cents today in Chicago at $1.93. 40-pound block cheese is up a half at $1.94 1/4. Even AA butter picks up 2 cents today at $2.63 1/2 per pound. But it's just incredible to me, Josh. 400, somewhere in the neighborhood of 475,000 chickens that those operations are trying to manage with no money for feed, no money for personnel, and people have been just trying to drive up, make a donation, and drive away with a crate full of chickens. These are meat chickens, so they're ready for processing, but just tragedy that those farmers are caught in.
Oh, I can't imagine them going through that, thinking about them. And of course, we know now with the weather getting nicer this week, a lot of farmers are really going to have more of an opportunity to get out and get stuff done in the fields too.
In southern Wisconsin, I bet we're in the home stretch.
Oh, for sure. I can notice up in my area of Wanakee, a lot of the fields are already done. So it's pretty incredible to see how quickly they move. All right, Pam, thank you for all your help today.
See you later.
Well, you might have the chance to see a comet in the next few days. The comet, all right, bear with me, C-2023A3, I know that's quite the name, has an 80,000-year orbit around the solar system. Last Saturday around noon, it was the closest it will get to our planet. Over the past week, it has become visible about an hour after sunset. It's just above the horizon near the constellation Virgo. The comet should be visible in the western night sky through next Monday. After that, it won't be visible for another 80,000 years. So not in our lifetime, of course. Let's get a look at your certified most accurate forecast. First floor meteorologist Kelly Slifka is out on the weather patio. And I guess the big question is it going to be clear overnight tonight, Kelly?
The good news, it is going to be clear. I wish that comet had a better name. But anyway, yeah, if you want to view that, perfect conditions this evening. Once again, you just mentioned after the sun goes down, look in the western hemisphere, maybe catch that comet. Weather track, hardly anything across the upper Midwest. This has been really the ongoing situation for the last month. Haven't had much going on as far as the weather's concerned. We did have our frost and freeze this morning. Colors continue to really bloom. The northern half of the state basically near peak or at peak. Even here in southern Wisconsin, some locations near peak or peaking, like Richland County, just shaded that one in. Do have peak conditions. So I would say this weekend it would be picture perfect if you are going to be driving across southern Wisconsin, central Wisconsin. See plenty of color. We do have clear skies right now. Temperatures just a little bit warmer than yesterday, headed into the mid to upper 50s. Dry air in place. Temperatures dropping quickly this evening through the 40s into the 30s before midnight. This will be the last night. You know, if you took in your plants last night, do it again tonight, because after tonight, I don't think we're going to see a frost for at least the next 10 nights. So we've got plenty of opportunities to still enjoy some of those outdoor plants. 70s expected this weekend, and it looks like the dry weather is going to continue not only this weekend, but into much of next week. So that cool air that we have in place is sliding out of the east. Typically when you get those cold air masses that dive way into Florida, on the back side of it, you get this building ridge, and that's what we're seeing. That's what's going to bring us a gradual warm-up throughout the week, and then definitely into the weekend. And the storms are held off to our west and up to our north. That cold air basically locked up into Canada. So we're going to remain warm and dry going into the upcoming weekend. You see those temperatures climb. Probably the peak day will be on Sunday or Monday of next week with low to mid 70s. You can see our average high now falling into the 50s throughout the weekend into next week. We do take a little bit of a dip Wednesday and Thursday. Now signs are showing that some of that warmth is going to return toward the end of next week and even going into the following weekend. All right, our rain chance is not good. We continue with the dry conditions, just slim chance of rain. It looks like on Tuesday with that cold front that will be arriving later in the day. A lot of sunshine today as we climb into the mid to upper 50s this afternoon. Winds are a lot lighter out of the west. We'll drop down through the 30s after 9, 10 o'clock. Waking up tomorrow in the low to mid 30s. Probably not a hard freeze like we saw this morning, but there will be some scattered frost. Best chances from Madison areas to the north and east going into tomorrow morning. And then as we go in the afternoon, that southerly wind will be picking up. We should see plenty of sunshine. Not too much of a wind today. It's out of the west. Eventually it'll switch around the south tonight. Lighter winds tonight. As we go into the morning hours, once that sun comes up, that wind will be picking up out of the south. So tomorrow's going to be a breezy day, but that southerly wind is what's going to bring us some warm temperatures. 50 right now in Madison, 52 in Janesville. Across Dane County, everybody flirting with 50, 49 right now in Wanakee. We've got 50 in Sun Prairie. First warm forecast down to 33 tonight with some scattered frost. Then we've got these overnight lows in the 40s to around 50 through the weekend. High temperatures well in the 70s. Very little chance of rain over the next 10 days.
Oh, we're timing those 70s nice. Saturday and Sunday there, Kelly.
Looking good for this weekend. Get out and enjoy it.
All right, we sure will. Thank you. Howard has a recipe fitting in perfectly for this time of year in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Got a pumpkin craving that's hard to satisfy? We've got just the thing to fix that. Yeah, we really do.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Nobody wants to think about cold weather, but now's the time to winterproof your home. Is your house cold every winter? Your home needs foam. Are your heating costs too high? Your home needs foam. Do you have different temperatures in different rooms? Your home needs foam. USA Premium Foam is over 35% more efficient than ordinary, weaker insulation. Winterproof now and get 0% financing for 72 months.
USA Insulation.
A flood of illegals, skyrocketing prices, global chaos, and Kamala wouldn't change a thing.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Nothing will change with Kamala. More weakness, more war, more welfare for illegals, and even more taxes. Only President Trump cut middle-class taxes, and only President Trump will do it again.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Get an 11% rebate on your staining project at Menards. Verithane's proven formula is sure to amaze and is ideal for all interior wood projects from floors to furniture. Get a quart of premium fast dry wood stain for $10.94 after rebate. Add a smooth and durable finish with Verithane triple thick polyurethane. It allows you to complete your wood project with only one coat. Now only $17.79 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
When my husband got throat cancer, it wasn't just a health crisis. It was a financial one for my family. And that's something rural families know all too well. Joan Ballwig voted against expanding affordable health care for rural families and against bringing drug costs down. And that's one reason I decided to run against her. I'm Sarah Kieski, and I'm running for state senate. Because when someone you love needs medical care, the last thing you should have to worry about is how to pay for it.
We hold the most powerful tool to make democracy work for Black Americans, and that's our vote. Registering to vote takes less than 10 minutes. Help protect democracy. Go to myvote.wisconsin.gov to check your voter registration status. In-person absentee voting begins Tuesday, October 22nd. City of Beloit buses will provide free rides on Election Day. Let's be all in and vote on November 5th.
We're a country that loves our pumpkin. Every year in the U.S., we produce more than 1.6 billion pounds of pumpkin. That's billion, with a B. As a matter of fact, whether we get our pumpkin fix from a latte, a steaming bowl of cream of pumpkin soup, or in our desserts, you can bet it'll be comforting. And if you're craving that comforting taste right now, we have a pumpkin cobbler that's truly irresistible. Let me show you how easy. We start out by combining canned pumpkin with some milk, a bit of melted butter, and a splash of vanilla. After it's mixed, we stir in some basic dry ingredients. When the batter is smooth, we pour it into a baking dish. On top of this goes a mixture of white and brown sugar, tossed with a few chopped pecans. Now we pour some hot water on it. And no, we don't have to stir it before popping it in the oven. Once it's bubbling hot, it's ready to serve with a big scoop of ice cream or with a dollop of whipped cream. Maybe drizzle it with some caramel sauce as a double bonus. So if you're craving pumpkin, now's the time to go online to get our recipe for pumpkin pecan cobbler. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a pumpkin-y way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Thanks for joining us today at noon. Have a great afternoon.